Hey YouTube, Jax here with a tutorial for the UDK about post-process effects. I'm going to begin with telling you guys what the advantages and disadvantages are for using post-process effects. The main advantages for using post-process effects are that it's really easy to use and very simple to create quick iterations of effects that you want to use in a video game or application. Now, the main disadvantages are that it just takes up a lot of memory. You don't generally want to use them for a long period of time or constantly per se. They're just not really that great for performance. You generally want to stay away from them, but nonetheless, they can be very useful. So today I'm going to show you guys how to make a proper post-process effect. Now what you're going to want to what you're going to want to start with is opening up the UDK and going into your content browser. Yes, I know. I'm doing this on my laptop, so might get a little slow. What you're going to want to do is go into UDK game content, and you're just going to want to select that and create a new folder. Let's call it YouTube tutorial. You generally don't want to do grouping, and the reason why is it means that you can't have all your assets, or your assets are contained to a certain level, and you generally don't want that. And that's fine. Let's do the factory. YouTube tutorial. Let's call it and you're going to want to create a post-process chain. Let's go ahead and right. 1 second. Let's go and do this. Maps, examples. Want to do that. New. I forgot I had no YouTube folder already made. Tutorial. Okay. Post-process chain. A little bit rusty here. Can't use spaces. Alrighty, so now you get this little window, and you get some stuff in here too, but that's not a big deal. Let's see, where did that go? There we go. Okay. Now this is your starting node, and it's just the scene render target, and what that does is it's basically just the element that projects what you're seeing onto or data onto the screen. So now what you're going to want to do is right click, and you can see a number of different options, and I'm going to bring all these onto the screen real quick. Uber post process effect and material effect. The ambient occlusion effect, what it does is it does exactly what it says. It creates ambient occlusion, but in this case, you're not going to want to use it. It's what we call an outdated post-process effect. Now these are effects that have been in the Unreal Engine before, but are no longer used because they are outdated by something that is more effective and less cumbersome on the engine. Now, Epic doesn't remove these, mainly because just convenience reasons, really. They just build upon what they have and don't get rid of the old stuff, which is ultimately the reason why they make a new engine every cycle, is just to clean that stuff up and, of course, update graphics, gameplay, and the effectiveness of the engine. Now, DOF and Bloom effect is another one of those outdated ones. Generally, you're not going to want to use this. Yeah, I honestly can't think of a reason why you would use it. Blur effect, same thing. Uber post-process effect. Now this, what it does is it contains everything. This is the one that you want to use. You don't want to use this. You don't want to use, I'm going to go ahead and delete these. You don't want to use that. You don't want to use DOF and Bloom effect. You don't want to use blur effect. And you don't want to use ambient occlusion effect. You want to use Uber post-process effect. Now what you can do is to drag it, press Control, left click. Hold on here. Getting a bit of lag. There we go. Sorry about that. Lost my mouse. Lost my cursor. Anyways, let's get this post-process chain back open with the actual... There we go. Okay, so now what you do is left-click Uber post-process effect, Control, drag. Let's try this again. Control, drag. It's not really working on mine, but that's how you do that. So, as you can see down here, you got the scene, the shadows, highlights, midtones, and you can alter this to change the colors and the intensity of the different effects for post-process effects, as well as tone mapper, which is kind of interesting. Filmic kind of gives a grainy look. You can customize it and change it the way you like. And then you also have anti-aliasing, which if you're working on an application that is more graphically oriented, you're going to want to have some anti-aliasing, but make sure to add those options to allow your user to alter that, because many machines can't handle it. Motion blur, which is actually one of the effects. I believe it's in Bloom effect, maybe. Well, in one of them there's a motion blur effect. Basically what I'm getting at is the Uber post-process effect is called an Uber post-process effect for a reason. It contains everything these other things have, including post-process effect, bloom, depth of field, basically everything. It contains everything. That way it's all in one spot, and so you don't have all of this mess in here, this jumbled mess. So that's how you come up with that, and ultimately you just plug that in right there, and you can alter this any way you want. And then what we have down here is called a material effect. What you do with this is you would create a material by right-clicking and doing a new material and calling it material YouTube tutorial. And then you'd make this material really however you want it, but the purpose of this material is to then be used in this post-process effect by clicking on that. Then you got your material there, and what you do is plug it in there from the out to the in. Then what you'd have is a filtered effect where the material effect would appear in your window or in game. That is a very useful tool that allows you to have many effects, such as like a hit marker. Like say if you have a level block out in a burning building and you walk into fire and you want to have a hit marker but you don't want to do it with code, you can have a volumetric box that when you walk into there you'll take damage, but at the same time it'll show a red indicator showing that you're losing health. So that's one useful way to use a material effect. You can also do that with the Uber post-process effect, but you get a lot more detail and just control over the material effect than you do with the Uber post-process effect. And so that is all I have to show you guys. I hope this tutorial was helpful in directing you away from the not so useful post-process effects, and I hope you guys had fun, and please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys around in my next tutorial.